Chapter number 5.
Chapter number 5. Name of that chapter is
Fundamental units of life.
Fundamental Unit of Life. That is cell. Cell you have completed. Okay. So can I ask what a cell is going to have in common? Means a cell is what are the main conditions that a cell must have? What are the three things that a cell must have? Every cell, whether it is a eukaryotic or a prokaryotic. Okay, tell me, what is the difference between a eukaryotic and a prokaryotic cell? Tell me, Riaz, do you know this? Honestly, because we are here just to upgrade your marks, okay? So if you are not honest to us, if you do not know, then simply tell me that I don't know, sir. Please explain me again. I will start explaining you. It will be simple and fine. Okay, okay. So tell me, do you know the difference between eukaryotic and prokaryotic cell? Yes. Do you
No,
know?
sir.
No. Okay. Do you know about cell theory? Cell theory?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Do you know about that who discovered the cell? Who discovered the cell? No, don't know. Okay. So since you have completed, but still you need to study this chapter again because you are not having better knowledge. Okay, so that's it's okay. This is common for all the students. They don't used to study properly. So let us explain you again. Start studying again. That is cell chapter. Okay. So I'm asking you, Abdul, so many times, why have you not unmuted your mic? I'm just calling you, Abdul, are you there in the class? Abdul, are you there in the class? And you are not responding. Please unmute your mic.
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me. I'm going to ask you some questions. That what are the three things a cell must have?
Yes, sir.
I'm asking you some question. Okay. Have you studied the cell chapter?
Yes, sir.
And if I ask you some question, will you be able to answer those?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me the first question, that what are the three things a cell must have?
Cell organelles.
No, it is not in the eukaryotic, prokaryotic cell. Okay, tell me who discovered the cell?
Robert Hooke.
Okay, Robert, who discovered the cell? Whether it is living or non-living?
Yes, sir.
Whether it is a living cell, he discovered a living cell or a non-living cell?
Sir, non-living.
Non-living. Then who discovered living cell?
Sir, not sure about it.
Not sure. Okay. Okay, tell me, what do you mean? What do you know cell theory? Are you familiar with cell theory?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Give me any two statement that a cell theory has.
Sir, all cell come from pre-existing cells.
Okay.
Cell is the fundamental unit of life
Okay. Then tell me why cell is considered to be the basic fundamental unit of life.
because it makes up tissue. It makes up the sir. It makes up tissues
Okay.
and that is a cycle. Tissues turn into organelles.
No, this is not the appropriate answer.
Sir.
This is not the appropriate answer. This is not the appropriate answer, beta. But you are doing well. But I'm not saying that you are not doing good answering. But this is not an appropriate answer. Okay. Okay. Last and final question. That simple. That why all we say that all living organisms are made up of cell. Okay. And you are saying that the cell
Yes,
is
sir.
cell is a compiling unit of tissue because tissues are made up of cell. That's why cell is considered to be a basic fundamental unit of life. Okay. So my question from you is that we have the eukaryotic and the prokaryotic cell. Okay. There are the two types of cells. Okay, what is the major difference between a eukaryotic and a prokaryotic cell? What is the major difference between a eukaryotic and a prokaryotic cell? Have you studied this chapter whole thoroughly? So let us start, dear students. Let us start and keep a revisions. Okay, so we are just revising this chapter first, so that it will be then we will move to some other chapters. So first revise this chapter for some time. Okay, for 2 or 3 classes will it take, because biology is going to have only 3 chapters, and then we're going to study throughout the years. So we have enough time to learn each and every chapter thoroughly in great detail. Okay, so should I start with the cell chapter or should I start with some other chapters? Tell me, honestly. I'm asking you both, Riaz and Abdul. I'm asking you both, should I start with the cell chapter or should I jump to another chapter that you like? Abdul, please unmute your mic, and Riaz, I'm asking you question, should I start the cell or should I jump to another chapter? You want to study some other chapter?
Cell.
Cell. You should start with the cell.
Sir. Yes, sir.
And Riaz,
Yes, sir. Yes,
should
sir.
I start with the cell?
Prefer.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's move with the cell. The first question that was that that cell is a basic fundamental unit of life. Okay. Everything that we see in the a living organism, what we see. I'm just asking you a simple, because this is today's first class and it is an introductory class. So most of the time it goes in the introduction and moreover in the discussions. So my first question is that what criteria do you like, or do you say, what criteria do you use in order to say whether something is alive or not? Means I'm repeating my question. My question is that what are the main things? Things, what are those things that you see in a living organism that you can easily decide whether it is a living or a non-living organism? Tell
Cell.
me. What criteria do you use?
Cell.
Okay. Okay. So simple is that there are something that we use to say whether something is alive or not. And what are these things? Let us discuss today. Okay. Do you think that all living organisms grow? Do you think? Hmm? Do you think that all living organisms grow? Yes. Okay. Riaz, you need to please unmute your mic and I need to answer your question. I need to ask you constantly. Both of you, please unmute your mic. If you are having a background noise, let it be. I can hear that one. We can manage. But I want you to answer instantly, okay? Because this will this will make a class interesting if you answer it instantly. Okay. The question is that growth is not an essential. We see that some living organism grow. Yes, we know. But can we say that mountains are also living? Mountains are also living because they also grow. The mountains are dead, they don't grow. Okay, you see that the height of the mountains are continuously increasing. The height of the mountain are continuously increasing because the trees over the mountains are growing over it. And after some time, these mountain get the layers over this get deposited over this one. Okay, so simply this layer get deposited over this one. And as a result of which, and the layer is formed and the trees start growing over this layer. The trees start growing over this layer. Got it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Got it? And this again, this process continue. Okay, and this again, this process continue. So if I ask you, a simple question is that if the height of the mountains are growing, that we cannot say that if that mountains are growing. Or if they are growing, they are considered to be as living. No. So growth is not considered to be as essential criteria to say whether something is alive or not. Growth is not considered. So, do all living organisms reproduce?
Can you repeat the question, sir?
I'm asking that do all living organisms reproduce?
Yes, sir.
No, all living organisms do not reproduce. You see that there are some couples who are married, but they are not having their kids for the entire lifespan. So they are not reproducing. Moreover, you see a worker bee. A worker bee never reproduce through its entire lifespan. Okay, if you see a mule, if you see a mule, you will find that mule does not reproduce for its entire lifespan. Okay, so reproduction is not an essential criteria. Reproduction is not an essential criteria to say whether something is alive or not. Okay, consciousness means response to external stimulus. Response to external stimulus is also not an essential criteria to say whether something is alive or not. Because you see, consciousness means response to external stimulus means that we are responding to the external environment like heat, cold. If there's a temperature less than 20 degree, we start feeling cold. Okay, and if the temperature is more than 35 degree, then we start feeling hot. Okay, so we are just responding to the external stimulus. If someone pin to our body, then our body sense feel that one. If we are just feeling, we have the feeling of touch, we have the feeling of a smell. So we are responding to the external stimulus, our environment. But can we say that response to external stimulus is an essential criteria, or all living organism responds to external stimulus? Or this question can be asked that if there is something that is not responding to the external stimulus, means that is not responding to the environment, that don't feel cold, heat, can we consider it as dead? Can we consider it as dead? No. Yeah, because response to external stimulus is also not an essential criteria to say whether something is alive or not. Why? Because there are person who is in coma. He is still breathing. He is still taking glucose. Okay. But if you pin him, if you touch him, if you even touch his hand with the hot plate, he will not remove his hand like this way. So he is not responding. So should we bury that person in the grave? No, he is not dead. He is alive. Still the heart is beating. The blood circulation is moving. The blood is moving and taking. So response to external, if he is not responding, it means it does not, it is not indicating, that person is not indicating that he is dead. So what is that thing that make a thing alive, or that all living organism should do? That is the 3 or 4 things. That is, first one is nutrition. Nutrition. Okay. Nutrition means intake of food, respiration, the transportation and excretion. Okay. So let me explain you one by one. That is nutrition, respiration, excretion, transportation, okay, and excretion. These are the main thing that every living organism must perform. The first one is intake of food. Every living organism, whether he is a coma patient or whether there is a couple who never reproduce, he or they are also having food. They are continuously having food. When a person who is in coma, he usually get his food from his drip that is injected inside his body, and glucose is being inserted inside the body. So he is taking food. Okay. If a person is in coma, he also respire. Okay. He also respire. If a person is in coma, he also respire. Okay. Every living organism perform respiration, whether it is a bacteria or another anything. If I'm saying it is living, so it must perform respiration. Next thing is transportation. Transportation means moving a substance inside the body. Like for example, the food which is digested in our body is transported to different part of our body. So transportation means moving, internal movement of body parts, means internal movement of substances that is being transported to different part of our body. And lastly is the excretion, is the removal of waste product. If a person is in coma, he must do urine. He must remove the waste product from his body. Okay, so these are the four essential things that all living organism must perform. Got my point? Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Muhammad Abdul, got my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now moving to the next point is, if I'm saying cell is the basic fundamental unit of life. Life means that it is indicating cell is the basic fundamental unit of life. It means that it is indicating what it is indicating. It is indicating, okay, the cell is the basic fundamental unit of life. It is indicating that cell is living. Cell is living. Okay, cell is living. So if the cell is living, and if we have decided the criteria to say whether something is alive or not, and these are the four things that a living organism must perform: nutrition, it must it must intake food. The second one is it must respire. Third one is there must be internal transportation, means movement of things from one place to another inside the body. And the fourth one is the removal of waste product. So let's check these four qualities, whether the cell is living, whether it perform all these four activities or not. So when we look into the cell, we see that cell need nutrition. Cell need nutrition, and that is a cell organelle that is called mitochondria that produce energy. Produce energy. Okay. Produce energy. Okay. And there is in plant cell, there are the chloroplast that absorb the sunlight from the sun and then convert into chemical energy, and there with the help of carbon dioxide they make their food. Carbon dioxide and water, they make their food. So cell has the capability to produce its own food. Okay, so cell, we can say that cell is making its own food, means nutrition. For the first point, that is nutrition, the cell is doing nutrition. The second one is respiration. Do cell respire? Do cell inhale the oxygen and move that like we are inhaling? Yes, cell also need oxygen. The cell, what is actually happening when we inhale the oxygen from our nostrils reaches to the lungs, and from lungs there are the balloon like structures present in the lungs, okay, that we call them alveoli. In the lungs there are alveoli that are the balloon like structures, okay, and they are the balloon like structures, and these balloon like structures are in a direct contact with the blood vessels. Okay, so what happened when this oxygen reaches to the lungs? From the lungs it is transported, this oxygen get mixed into the blood, and from this blood it is transported to different part of the cell. So where this oxygen is being taken with the help of hemoglobin, where it is being taken, it is taken to different part of the cell. So when it reaches the cell use this oxygen, and there is a carbon glucose present inside the cell. It is being burned, and then carbon dioxide is being removed from the cell. So cell is respiring. Cell is taking the oxygen and removing the carbon dioxide. And that carbon dioxide that we are inhaling, it is coming from the cell, different part of the cell. That carbon dioxide again mixed with the blood, then this blood reaches into the lungs, and then again from lungs it is inhaling, we are inhaling this oxygen, this carbon dioxide. Okay, sorry, exhaling this carbon dioxide. So respiration is also done by the, moreover, that is transportation. So for the transportation, there are the specialized membrane bound organelle that is present, that is called Golgi bodies and endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum. They generally perform a very good task in transporting the material from one position to another. So there is the internal transportation is also being done inside the cell. And the last one is excretion. Excretion means the removal of waste product. The cell is also removing the waste product. Cell is also removing the waste product. Whatever the waste product is produced inside the cell, there are the vacuoles, there are the lysosomes that have digestive enzymes. Okay, they secrete and they help in the removal of waste product. Okay, they are the vacuoles that collect the garbage. garbage from the cell, and then it remove it from the cell. So vacuoles, lysosomes generally help in cleansing actions or removing of waste product from the cell. So cell is performing all the, like the kidney we are having in our body, the cell is also having lysosomes and vacuoles, that is acting as a cleaning actions, or that is performing the cleaning action in the cell. So a single cell is performing all those activities that a major complex organism is performing. So we can say that cell is the basic fundamental unit of life, because a single cell has the capability to perform all those activities that are living a major complex organism perform. Got it? Got my point? Got my point? But I'm coming. Wait a
Yes,
minute.
sir.
Okay, dear students, you understood? You understood? You understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Now, coming to the point is that cell is performing all the, moreover, this site, the oxygen that we are inhaling, where it is going? It is going inside the lungs, and from lungs it is mixed with the blood, and blood is transporting that oxygen into the cells. So where it is transporting? It is transporting inside the cell. So actually, cell is the main site where all the activities is being performed inside the body. Whatever we are having, that all activities is being performed inside the cell. Got my point? Yes, student.
Yes, sir.
Got my point? So if I ask you that why is the cell basic fundamental unit of life? It's because the simple question, the answer for this question is cell is considered to be as basic fundamental unit of life because cell has the capability to perform all those activities that a living organism perform without depending others. Moreover, cell is the main site where all the activities takes place. When it is a cell is the main site where all the activities are taking place. So that's why we say that cell is a basic fundamental unit of life. You understood? Okay. Now coming to the point, the first point that I asked you, that what a cell is comprised of, what a cell must have. If I'm saying that a cell, what a cell must have, dear friend, what a cell must have. Cell. A cell must have three things. A cell must comprise of three things. One is that it must have cell membrane. Cell membrane it must have. Okay. And another one thing is that the cytoplasm. It must have the cytoplasm. If I'm talking about the living cell, okay, so it must have the cytoplasm. What is cytoplasm? Tell me what is cytoplasm, dear student? Tell me
It
what
is
is
a liquid
cytoplasm?
found inside the cell.
That is the matrix, okay? It is the matrix that is present inside the cell, and where all the membrane bonded organelles are embedded, like mitochondria is embedded inside it, nucleus is embedded inside it, okay, Golgi bodies, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, all are embedded inside the cell. Got my point? Okay, understood?
Yes, sir.
So cell
Yes,
must
sir.
have this one, and the last one is that it must have the genetic material, that is DNA. If the cell is eukaryotic, if the cell is eukaryotic, like this cell that I'm going to show you here, okay, let me show you. If the cell is eukaryotic, then it is going to have membrane bounded organelles, like this is mitochondria, this is nucleus, this is endoplasmic reticulum, this is Golgi bodies, okay. So these are all membrane bounded organelles, means you can simply see all the cell organelles inside the cell. But if it not if it is not eukaryotic cell, means eukaryotic cell, it is a prokaryotic cell, then DNA will be still present. In eukaryotic cell, DNA is present inside the nucleus, but in prokaryotic cell, the nucleus is not present. Nucleus is not present. So the DNA is embedded everywhere inside the cytoplasm, like this way, this thread-like structure. Okay. So this is DNA. Got my point? This is DNA that is embedded inside the cell. But if it is eukaryotic cell, then all the membrane bonded organelle will be present, and it will be inside the nucleus. It will be inside the nucleus. Got it? Everybody understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now moving to the point here, we were discussing the cell must have three things, that was the cell membrane, genetic material, and cytoplasm. There is also a membrane bonded organelle, that membrane-less organelle, that is called ribosomes, and ribosomes are generally present in eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells both. So a cell must have ribosomes also. Okay. Okay. So this is the introduction of the cell. The cell is for the cell. Okay. So please note it down. Please note it down. A cell must have three things. Note it down in your copy. The cell membrane, cytoplasm, genetic material. Have you done?
Done, sir.
Then why are you not answering that we have done?
I just finished.
Okay, please note it down that why the cell is considered to be the basic fundamental unit of life. Why cell is considered to be the basic fundamental unit of life? The answer for this, cell is considered to be the basic fundamental unit of life due to the following reason. One is that all the metabolic activities take place inside the cell. But what are the metabolic activities? Like respiration, excretion, oxidation of food. There is respiration, excretion means removal of waste product, that are going to take place inside the cell. Okay. So all the metabolic activities are taking place inside the cell. Moreover, the second point is cell is capable of performing all those activities which a living organism performs. Means a cell has the capability to perform all those activities a living organism perform without depending others such as nutrition, respiration, transportation, excretion. Okay. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please note it down. When you're done, please let me know, dear students. When you're done, please let me know. Okay.
Sir, what is after depending?
Without depending other, such as nutrition, respiration, transportation, excretion. Done?
Yes, I
No,
have
sir.
it.
Abdul, done?
Just a little, sir.
Riyaz,
No, sir.
done? So still writing? Okay, do it. When you done, please let me know, okay?
Done, sir.
Okay. Now moving to the discovery of the cell. Let's move over the discovery of the cell. Okay. Cell was discovered by Robert Hooke. You know very well that cell was discovered by Robert Hooke, but it was a dead cell that he discovered. Okay. He discovered a dead cell, and what he discovered actually he took the cork even bottle cork that was having a wine cap. Okay. So it was made up of dead cell cork, and simply what he see inside the cork is that uh columns, square like column and structures. Okay. And he called it as what he called it as cell. Why he called this as cell? Why he called this as cell? Because he see these and he called it little rooms, and little rooms is given a name, that is cell. You have seen in so many movies. Okay, you have seen in so many movies that little rooms means a person who is in prison, means he was given number that he is the cell number, a prisoner cell number, this and this and this. So cell means that a little room. Okay, so this from that little room he called it cell. Okay, got it? Little
Yes, sir.
rooms. So cell means little rooms. That was given by the Robert Brown, and that is in 1665. Robert who discovered the cell, and it was a dead cell. What he actually discovered, he did not see anything inside the cell. He did not see anything inside the cell. He only see the cell membrane. Okay. So if I'm saying that if you are seeing the membrane structure of a something, or a boundary of a something, then you cannot say that he did not see the whole thing. For example, if you see that you are seeing the boundary of car, so it does not mean that you are not seeing the car. What is present inside the car, you don't see what is present inside the who is driving the car, but you see the car, it means. Okay, so similarly he see the cell wall of the cell, but you cannot refuse saying that he did not see the cell, because that was a cell wall is a part of cell now. Cell wall is a part of cell. So if he is watching the cell, that means indirectly he is watching the if he is watching the cell wall, indirectly he is watching the cell. So cell wall, actually he discovered was a cell wall, but he did not see anything inside a cell. Like this is the cytoplasm, he does not see the DNA, anything, because that was also a dead cell. So he did not see anything according to this. Got my point, dear student? Got my point? So now moving to the further discoveries, whatever the Robert Hooke see in the cell, during that times they used to make some notes and then need to publish in the paper. So he published a book. He did publish his discoveries in a book named as Micrographia. What was the name of that book? That was Micrographia. Okay, so Micrographia was that book in which Robert Hooke published his work of cell. Got it? So this is 1 marks question. Please note it down. Please note it down fast. It will take 2 or 3 classes, three to 4 classes to complete this chapter, but we will I'm damn sure that you will be going to answer any question regarding to this topic.
That's right.
Done. So let's move. You also done? But Riyaz, done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now moving to the next portion is next part of this one is that in 1664, after the 9 years, in 1665, the first cell was discovered. 1665, that was the dead cell, and that was discovered by this self-made microscope of Robert Hooke. Okay, but in 1674, Anton Leeuwenhoek, this scientist, discovered his microscope. This is his microscope that is he's carrying in his hand. Okay, so whatever he used to see everything. He used to take the hair from his head and used to see in his microscope. He used to take his waist of nose and used to see it from that uh, microscope from that made by his own. He used to see the waste of his mouth and used to see it. But finally, at some time, he used to watch. This is the pond water he's having, and he used to watch that. Okay, and what he watched that he discovered he see the bacteria in the pond water, and he named it as animalcules. Animalcules. Okay, animalcules. Animalcules means little animals. Little animals means small animals. So that time bacteria was not discovered, and we don't know anything about bacteria during that time. The bacteria was discovered in some during the First World War. Okay, and before that, but this was this is 1674. So during that time, bacteria was not discovered, or bacteria might be discovered. We can see the bacteria, but we don't know the actual name of this substance, this animals, or this organism is bacteria. So during that time, bacteria term was not there. So uh, he see the bacteria, but he named it as animalcules. Got my point? Little animals. Got my point? Hmm? Hey, Yas.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now moving to the next point is in 1831, after approximately 140 years later, approximately, what happened is Robert Brown, this name is Brown, and that was Robert Hooke, who discovered the cell, and he discovered the nucleus. So Robert Brown, who discovered the nucleus, okay, discovered the nucleus. So Robert Brown was that scientist, or that biologist, or that uh, anyone you can call him. So Robert Brown discovered the nucleus after a discovery. Okay, and then after the in 1839, a term protoplasm was coined. Term protoplasm means protoplasm was a common term. Whatever the substance is present inside the cell, if we are having anything inside the cell boundary, that is considered to be as protoplasm. But during that time, we don't see the cell in great detail. So we generally see the cytoplasm and some nucleus like structure and something. So this togetherly is called whatever the thing is present inside the cell, inside the boundary of the cell, it is called protoplasm. And generally it has cytoplasm plus cell organ. Got my point? Hmm? So
Yes.
cytoplasm and the cell organelle form protoplasm. And this term, the protoplasm, was coined by who coined the term protoplasm? I think Purkinje was a scientist who discovered this term protoplasm. So please note it down. Note it down, this notation in 1664, 1674, 1831, and 1839. When you're done, better let me know, okay?
Done, sir.
Done. Okay, let's move further. Let's move further, dear student. You see here is a chart that generally represent the size of the things that we usually see, and here the size of the cell, that is animal cell and the plant cell. If we ask that what is approximately the size of the cell, can be size of cell. This is the chart that is representing a 1 meter. This is the size, approximately the size of the human beings, 1 to 2 meter in between. And that is the ostrich egg. Ostrich egg is we have the 100 mm size, and it is approximately greater the size of an approximately a Coca-Cola bottle. Okay, so this is ostrich egg, and this is the single cell and the largest cell. The ostrich egg is the largest cell. Okay, and then after this chicken and frog, human egg is also single cell. Okay, then after it, this is the animal and plant cell. The size of the animal and plant cell generally lies between 10 micrometer to 100 micrometer. So please note it down that the size of human beings cell is from 10 micrometer to 100 micrometer. That is this one, the size of cell, the size of cell. Okay, and this can be written. Got my point? Okay, and after that, the size of the mitochondria that is present inside the cell, these mitochondria, and then these viruses and flus and proteins. Okay, so they are smaller than the size of even the cell organelle that is present inside the cell. So viruses are very small in size, and they are different. They have the different characteristics other than cell. Got my point? Got it, dear student?
Yes.
Yes.
So should I move forward? Okay. Now moving to the cell theory. Cell is the basic fundamental unit of life. Okay, what is the cell theory actually? We see that there are 4 steps in the cell. There are the 4 scientists who give different statements about the cell, and these 4 statements are compiled together, and they made we means that 4 statement we generally consider to be as cell theory. The first statement is that cell is the basic fundamental unit of life because all the metabolic activities takes place inside the cell. This statement was given by Robert Hooke. Okay, and here because he discovered the cell, and okay, now moreover there were the 2 scientists that were, one was Matthews Sheridan and Theodore Schwann. Okay, there are 2 scientists, one is Matthews Sheridan and Theodore Schwann. They are the 2 scientists. Got it? And these 2 scientists, one was the biologist, sorry, both of them were biologists. One was the zoologist, another one was the zoologist, means who study animals, study about animals. Okay, about animals. And then one other is botanist who study about plants. Okay, and during that time the conversation was not very easy. The people used to write the letters to the headquarter of the universities, where they usually submit their thesis, submit their discoveries, and then these discoveries were checked by the professor team of that university, and then these were called, okay, to verify, to prove their theories. Okay, so this was a very long process. So Theodore Schwann and Matthews Sheridan were the 2 different biologists, and they were from different countries. They were not from the same countries, and they used to send these things to the university that all, one of them said that all plants are made up of cell. Okay, all plants are made up of cell. Okay, and all animals are also, another one said that all animals are also made up of cell. Okay, got my point? All animals are made up of cell. So after this, all plants are made up of cell, all animals are made up of cell. Okay, these 2, because you know that if I'm saying that all animals are made up of cell, another is saying all plants are made up of cell. So what is the remaining? All the living organisms are generally plants and animals. So we can say that by compiling these two statements were given in 2 different years. Means the first statement was given for the plants in 1838, and then in 1839 the next statement was given. So this two statement was compiled together, and for this two statement we simply say that all living organisms are made up of cell. Got it? Got it? The next statement was every cell is made up of pre-existing cell. Every cell means there was a scientist that was known as Robert Virchow, who said that every cell is made up of, there were theories that let me explain you because there were some theories that scientists usually wants to know that from where does the first cell come, how does this life start. So there are some religious theory that is being written in the Quran, Bible and something. So that is the religious one. But according to the scientists, what they discovered, what they see, according to them, okay, there are some ancient Greeks who gave the theory of panspermia. And what was that theory? Panspermia theory. That was that according to them, that God has send the samples of everything, every plantation to different part of the world, thrown it, and then they start growing. So this theory was completely rejected because this was not so happening. And next theory was the theory of biogenesis. Theory of that, this is just for information. Theory of biogenesis, that all living organism, or the first cell arises from the organic matter. Organic matter means plants or animals. Generally, we consider the organic substances plants and animals. So just for example, if I'm saying the first cell come from the organic matter. For example, if you have straw means the waste part of the plant. Okay, straw like bhusa that generally cow used to eat. Okay, that is called straw. So if you put some water inside the over that straw and keep it for tightly packed for some days, you will find that this straw start decaying, and there are some bacteria that were grown on that substance. So actually, where does the first cell come from? According to theory of biogenesis, it say that the first cell arises from organic matter. Organic matter means plants and animals. Again, this is the same question arises. From where does the first that organic matter come from? From where does this plant or animal come from? Okay, so there was another theory that was given by that Robert Virchow, who said that the first cell arises means the pre-existing means the cell arises from the every cell arises from pre-existing cell. Every cell arises from pre-existing cell. What does this statement means? Actually, this statement means, just take an example. This was done by named of that sentence was Pasteur. Louis Pasteur did an experiment. He took some beaker and a pot and having some water like substance inside it. Okay, and just sealed it, and this is boiled water because it does not contain any oxygen, and he added some killed microbes to it. Okay, another beaker he take, and then he did not heat it up. There is oxygen is coming inside it, and he just kept the water or other substance, and then he dropped the killed microbes into it. So he said what he did is he said that life started originating in this beaker. Okay, life start originating, these killed microbes starts beating. Okay, and or in the another one he does not he does not keep any killed bacteria. He just keep the water inside it, pure water, and there is no life starting in it. But in this beaker, he see that these bacteria start, after some time, these bacteria start degrading, and then the new bacteria rises from these bacteria. So bacteria is a cell. Bacteria is actually a cell. So for why the life is not originating in this, because there is not already cell is present in the inside this beaker, inside this one, but here the cell is present. Here this cell is present. So the Robert Virchow statement that the cell existing from pre-existing cell is true. This is you can simply see that if you are having an apple and you kept this one in a dustbin or something, that is that bring a new dustbin from the market and keep a apple inside that one, and add some few drop it into it, then you will after and let it packed with 10 to 15 days, then you will find that the bacteria or the a worm start coming inside that apple. Why? Because apple is containing some cell, and from that cell new cell arises, bacteria arises, new worms arises. So life is starting from that pre-existing cell. If there is no apple, there will be no life will start. So apple is a group of cell. Apple is containing cell. So from that cell, the pre-existing cell, this new cell arises. So this was the theory. This was the last statement of cell theory that was given, and that was every cell is made up of pre-existing cell. Every cell is made up of pre-existing cell, and that is omnis cellula acellular. Got my point? Got my point? And in his language, this was in his language, it was given that omnis cellula acellular. And the last statement is that all living organisms start their life from single cell. Whether there is a multicellular organism, or whether it means any organism that you see that is going to have, in simple language, we can say that the life started from the pre-existing cell, from that one. Got my point? Got my point?
Yes, sir.
So please note these points from the cell. And there is 1 marks question arises that there is an exemption, means viruses are exempted from cell theory, means they are not included inside the cell theory. We cannot say that viruses are also made up of cell. Okay, we cannot say that because because viruses are those product, or you can say anything that when it is outside the body, it is considered to be as dead, and when it is inside the body, it is start acting as a living creature. So viruses are exempted from cell theory. So if 1 marks question arises that which are exempted from cell theory, bacteria, viruses, fungi, and some other, so the correct option will be viruses. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
So please note down the points of cell theory. In the next class, please learn these all points. I will ask you, will take you a live test from this one. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Please note all the points. Note down all the points. And when you're done, please let me know.
Done, sir.
Done? Other?
Yes, sir.
Both of you? Done? Pakka? Sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
please learn all the topics that we have studied from today's class. We'll be asked some points from this previous topic, then we're going to move to the next topic. So because we are having only 3 chapters in the 9th standard from biology, other 2 chapters are being deleted or being removed from